Genesis 1:6, the firmament and the architecture of the cosmos. Introduction, the mystery of the firmament. Genesis 1:6, then God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. Now we step into one of the most misunderstood verses in the creation account. Genesis 1:6 is not about ancient weather systems or primitive domes. It's about consciousness being divided. It's about the birth of form from formlessness. The firmament is not a metal ceiling over a flat earth. It is the objectification wall of the divine mind. This is where awareness divides itself to begin the process of structured perception. This is wave function collapse. This is psycho-spiritual cosmology. This is wave function collapse. This is psycho-spiritual cosmology. Section 1, the second creative word. This is the second time in Genesis that God speaks. Then God said. Each act of speech introduces a new dimension of divine structure. The first command brought light, energy, awareness, the beginning of time. Now, the second command brings space, dimensional distinction, layered perception, the ordering of awareness into above and below. So now we see a pattern. Energy, then separation, then structure. Section 2, the waters as consciousness. The waters in Genesis are not merely oceans. They are symbols of the primordial field of consciousness. This is the same imagery used in the following: Kabbalah, Ein Sof, infinite unstructured light. Egyptian cosmology, Nun, the endless watery abyss. In Hinduism, we have the cosmic ocean before Brahma awakens. These waters are the raw, undivided potential of the divine mind. They are the formless awareness, prior to observation, and thus prior to structure. Section 3, the firmament as wave function collapse. Then God said, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters. The Hebrew word is raquia. It means an expanse, a stretched out space. But metaphysically, this is the moment consciousness collapses possibility into perception. This is the observer effect, where divine awareness chooses a boundary, where wave becomes particle, where the infinite becomes finite. The firmament is the collapse barrier, the interface where unmanifest potential begins to form structure. In quantum terms, it's the border between the probability cloud and measurable form. In spiritual terms, it's where God divides his own mind into levels. Section 4, dividing the waters from the waters. The text continues, and let it divide the waters from the waters. This is profound. God does not remove the waters, he divides them. There is now waters above, which means higher awareness, archetypal potential, spiritual presence, and the waters below, manifest thought, the subconscious field, and embodied form. The firmament stands between them as the filter of divine cognition. This is not destruction, this is sacred differentiation. This is consciousness distinguishing between the subjective and the objective. This mirrors the act of meditation, of inner observation. You observe your own thoughts, creating a firmament within. You make space between the seer and the seen. Section 5, dome misrepresentation, externalizing the inner. Let us address the elephant in the room, the dome. Many read firmament and assume that it refers to a hard structure above the earth, a primitive model of the sky. But this is a misleading of a deeply symbolic term. Yes, the ancients used poetic cosmology, but Genesis is not giving us a flat earth map, it's giving us a map of consciousness. The error comes from externalizing the symbolic waters. When you think that the waters are oceans or flowing cosmic spaces, then the firmament becomes a weather dome. But if the waters are states of being, then the firmament is the veil between the spiritual and the material realms. The firmament is not a ceiling, it's a consciousness threshold. Section 6, Cosmic and Psychological Architecture. In this one verse, Genesis reveals the architecture of both the universe and the soul, cosmic. In a cosmic sense, it reveals the formation of dimensional layers and the structure that allows form to emerge from chaos. In a psychological sense, it reveals the emergence of the observing self and the inner distinction between conscious and unconscious states. It also shows us the place where divine awareness reflects upon itself. This verse is the blueprint for interior separation, a sacred gap where thought becomes real. Section 7, Universal Parallels and Final Insights. You see the same movement in every mystical tradition. The Kabbalistic Zimzum, God creating space from within. The Buddhist conception of duality arising from within mind. The Gnostic idea of aeons descending into form. In science, we have quantum decoherence, measurement collapsing the wave, and dimensional brains forming boundaries between worlds. Genesis 1:6 is not primitive cosmology, it is divine consciousness beginning to differentiate within itself. It is God drawing lines inside his own infinite awareness. It is the first sacred architecture. It is the veil that makes reality possible. So what is the firmament? It is not steel, it is not sky. It is the wall of becoming. The firmament is the membrane of mind, where the infinite collapses into the scene, where divine awareness creates the space to observe itself. You carry this structure inside of you, and Genesis is revealing it to you one layer at a time.